Hello, welcome to the BroJ Podcast. I'm your OJ.
And I'm your Brandon, or your bro.
Um, Today we're going to be talking to you.
Wait, hold on one second. The light is really, really bright. Let me put on my sunglasses. You know what? This light is actually maybe just a little bit too bright. Let me reduce that just a little bit. That's a little bit better.
That is so much better.
You know what? You know what? I was wrong. Sunglasses was just not the thing to do. We'll just go regular vision. Sorry, you can continue.
I don't know if I can.
They arrived.
They
And
arrived.
And guess what I found?
What
I
did you
found the
find?
picture that inspired all of this. Of me being a badass little boy at Yellowstone with my glasses sitting in my trailer.
Okay, for those who can't see, Brandon, from his childhood, has at some point got a hold of some sunglasses that are out of control. They
They're
have
amazing.
each eye has two different lenses that can collapse over the front of the lens.
That
like
can
a
collapse
cyborg,
individually.
or like that guy from Dragon Ball, right? Yes. Oh my gosh! So you have different levels of eye protection, and then they flip out up over his forehead.
The first shade flips up towards your forehead, and then the next shade flips out towards the side of the glasses, and it's just glorious. And you look like a weird bug mech man with them all flipped out with regular vision.
So that picture you have from you as a child, they're like the same glasses.
They're exactly the same glasses. The frames are actually exactly the same.
You found the exact same ones you had,
They are
20 years ago.
Yeah, these ones are just made for adults for whatever reason.
Wow.
And if you want them, I have 2 extra pairs because I bought 3. So
I do. I want them.
You can have your own pair of amazing sunglasses.
I will collect mine on Monday.
So I recreated this picture and I sent it to my family and said, not much has changed except for the hair moved to my face. Like I got like a water bottle and like a piece of bread to like lay in my lap because I had like snacks in my hand in the picture. I sat in one of the lawn chairs to make it look like I was sitting in a stroller. It was great.
Like all slouched, like I got.
Yeah, all slouched back with like the water bottle like in my hand. And
I would agree. Not much has changed.
not much has changed.
Holy cow.
Anyways, I felt like I needed to surprise you with the sunglasses.
That's beautiful. I was wondering when they were going to show up. I
had to wait till I found the
anticipating
picture. It took me forever to re-find this picture.
That's like an actual hard copy of it.
Yeah. And so like my mom was big into scrapbooks when we were kids. And so we have like all these different scrapbooks, but at one point she was doing some scanning and like moving around of pictures for like an event or whatever, and some of the pictures got mixed up, and this one came out of the scrapbook and was like in this like side sleeve thing hidden on the side of the book.
Would have
And
been
so I was
lost
like,
forever.
I like one day I was just like, hey, I'm gonna go through every single page and like dip into the pockets and see if there's like stuff hidden behind, and I finally found it after like a month of searching for it.
Wow.
But
That's beautiful.
yeah, I have a physical picture of this glorious moment where I frankly peaked. I peaked as a child. That was peak coolness. So I'm just trying to get it back.
All downhill from there. Yeah.
Clearly. Anyways.
Wait, are you going to wear those into the like out in the outdoors? Like
out into the outdoors with real people? Probably not. I don't think it would go well if I went to work with these on. I don't think anybody would be able to take my advice seriously.
What about to like the barista? To like the cafe in the morning?
To my cafe in the morning? Just like show up and, what would you like?
Flip them out. Oh, you were going to try to automate them, huh? With like little servos or something.
Yeah, I want to put little motors into it so that like I can like either like press a button like on the side or something. And it just like moves. They're gonna turn into like ugly steampunk ones probably, where it's not even classy steampunk. It's just gonna be like just the most ugly pieces of mechanics sitting out the side of it to make them move. But I think it'd be really cool. Anyways,
Those are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for for
that,
enhancing my life.
that was my intro to the podcast.
So well, that's interesting. I was thinking the other day about like photos and
Mm-hmm.
like where are all I know there are photos documenting my youth. I don't have them. I know my mother has them, but they're all packed away somewhere. And they're
Mm,
just going to stay packed away forever probably, which is sort of sad. And it's like at what point do I try to get those from my mom so I can remember what my youth was like? Cuz I
yeah.
know there's pictures of things that like I want to try to remember. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
guess I'm going to have to talk to my mom, huh?
Yeah, I guess I got really lucky with my mom because there was a big scrapbooking craze that kind of swept through Utah
Oh yeah.
when I was like a really, really small child. And my mom jumped onto it heavy. Like where she has a scrapbook geared towards every kid, and then she has a master scrapbook, which is still in the process of being scanned digitally, but she has like a master scrapbook that has all of the memories through all the years. And there's like 16 of those books. And then each
There were
kid has like
mm,
a targeted book of like your first book is like year 1 through 3 kind of a thing,
holy
and your next
cow.
book is year like a span of a few years is each book. It kind of died off a little bit towards the end where you can kind of tell more the digital age came into more of a play,
Yeah.
but it's actually, especially as a kid, it was actually really fun to be able to like look back on memories, and so I got kind of lucky of being able to kind of relive those memories whenever I wanted to as a kid.
Yeah, people today, in children especially, and like their youth is so hyper documented with the ability to take pictures. Everyone's got a phone on them and it's digitally uploaded to their Google account or their whatever. It's like
Hmm.
it's just permanently exists as soon as there's a picture taken.
Yeah.
And like that sort of stuff didn't start coming around till like, I was well out of high school.
Hmm.
And so a lot of that youth for me is like those pictures, like who knows if some of these things exist or not. And like
I will
and
say
kids are
though,
so good about taking pictures of themselves now, like as teenagers and stuff, that like
yeah,
they're
true.
they're documenting their memories a lot better than I ever could.
The only thing I would say that is almost worse about way pictures are taken this age is that they're too easy to take to where we almost don't do anything with them to make them viewable again.
Mm.
Like
Oh, that makes
something
sense.
like something I've seen people try to do and I want to try to do again is like after like a moment or like an event happens or whatever, just go into like Google Photos and do like one of the like groupings of photos. Like you don't have to do like the fancy collages things where you have like three
Right.
photos in one and you like do the different sizes and all that stuff. But just like
Google
a
makes those for me
grouping.
automatically all the time,
True.
and will message me and say, "Check out this collage from a year ago we made for you."
Oh, true. It does do that.
Yeah,
Okay, so I
and
guess
it's
I guess
pretty
technology
cool.
is kind of doing it auto for us on our phones.
Yeah, but
True.
like I would still have to go and dig and find. Like if I wanted to find that again, I don't know how. But every
Hmm.
now and then I get a message about them, and I look at it and go, "That was cool," and then I don't know what happens to it after that.
I do get those actually now that I think about it. So I guess it's getting better. There was a while though where you took a picture and unless you did something with it, it just disappeared digitally in like a mass of photos that you never touched.
Yeah. I've been having a hard time transitioning to this because I sort of was very much into backing up my phone manually, like taking
Hmm.
the SD card out, putting it into my computer,
Same.
copying the DCIM or whatever it's called
Hmm.
folder over and backing it up manually and everything. And then, but now it's like if you do that, it does some weird stuff to the files. It does not quite as straightforward, and like you can't just delete it from your SIM card because then like that deletes it everywhere from Google too. So you have to be really careful about what's synchronizing from your phone
Well, most
to.
phones don't even have SD cards anymore.
Honestly, I need
Like
to
that.
take some time to figure it out because it's scary. Because I'm afraid I will accidentally delete stuff because we want to back it up manually to because I have a huge 13 terabyte backup.
Hmm.
I don't want Google in charge of backing up my photos. I want to do it. I don't trust them. I've had them lose stuff.
Hmm.
And but then at the same time being able then to delete it from my phone or from the history, it's like it doesn't make sense. It's not as clear as it should be.
Well, you also have like you have like the two modes after you dock your phone to a computer. And I think one of them makes it a little bit more straightforward as if it's an SD card, if I remember right.
Oh,
It
yeah.
might have changed since I last looked at it, but I think I remember finding like a mode you switch your phone to where it acts more like the SD card.
An
And
external drive.
yeah, more like an external drive. And it seemed to work a little bit friendlier of like, okay, now you can delete things. I think it makes a big difference as to where you save your phone or save your photos, because while you
Yeah.
can't pull out the SD card anymore, I think there is still a secondary storage on Android phones at least. And so if you choose to like put it off onto that second external storage, I think it makes it easier to
Yeah.
pull them
I
off and
was
move them around.
so I've been using uh my old phone to record videos for some things, and like I check the file size and go, okay, I've got 30 gigs free. And then I start recording and I still have 30, like for several hours, I still have 30 gigs free because it
Hmm.
instantly synchronizes that up to and it just F's with my brain so hard. For some reason, I have like a mental block of being able to like, I must be a boomer. Like, it's so hard to like transition my brain into this new form of backing up data
Oh wait, so it instantly puts it in the cloud and off your phone?
instantly.
Oh, I hate that.
And I can access it from my phone, which makes me think it's on my phone, but it's not.
Oh,
It's in
interesting.
the cloud.
So you're like saving it to like the Google Drive folder or something like that, and it's
Yeah, and it's
just
filling up my Google Drive,
interesting.
which I don't want. I wanted to do it the classic way, right? So I have to go in there
Yeah.
and dick with the settings. But I don't know if a lot of people stumble on that, or if I'm just so old that I'm the only one coming across this problem. I bet anyone else would be like, yeah, I'll pay the extra 5 a month just to get more storage in Google Cloud, instead of thinking of it
Mm,
the old retro way that I am.
maybe. I don't know. I still as soon as I get a phone change all those settings so I know exactly where everything is being saved.
That
Because
makes
I
sense.
I'm kind of the same. But I'm also one of those people. I think a lot of people have a lot of devices, and I'm not one of those people. I have like my main computer, my phone, and then if I have to be somewhat mobile, I have like a laptop I can use, but it's not like a place where I store or use data. It's more of like a mobile browser, sometimes application user. But
And
like a
then
lot
what
of people have
happens?
like a phone, a watch, an iPad, a second iPad, a laptop, a PC, and they want all of their like files just all in like accessible by all of them at all the time. And so I
And
think they
what
really
what I
love the
find is
cloud.
like with the devices, anytime there's an update or something, there's settings that revert to a default state. And so like things I think
Hmm.
I had changed suddenly are back to working a different way. And maybe I didn't know that an update happened. I'm like, wait, why is it asking me again to track my location? I thought I told it never to ask me for that. And now it's doing it
Hmm.
again, right? Because some sort of silent update happened which reverted everything. That sort of stuff drives me nuts.
Windows does that all the time. I hate that so much.
With the
I don't.
audio settings especially
Oh
too.
God! Every time there's an update, it's like, well, I better go through all of my audio settings and make sure they're correct, because
Yeah.
who knows what's going to happen when I enter any kind of chat? They're going to hear themselves, the the game, my PC, some YouTube video I have going. Who knows? It's going to be
My screen froze right
absolutely.
there.
Yeah, you had an interesting freeze frame there for a second.
I was digging for gold. Oh gosh.
Oh shit! What's happening to mine?
It's your focus. I saw that when you lifted up your picture, it did that. And it's your focus that's doing it, that's causing that.
I thought it had reverted back, but maybe it hadn't.
It did. It did. But whatever just happened, it decided to refocus.
Now I got little twinkly stars kind of going everywhere when you look at it, but
They'll slowly go away.
it's okay.
And we're back. Um, yeah. Technology, eh? So I was
Yeah.
wondering if we should revisit the fake news thing.
Okay.
Uh, I got ChatGPT to write us several fake news headlines. These are fictional and absurd headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, there was a vote from our viewers,
There
and none
was.
of our viewers want me to read out loud anymore.
Okay. So I'm the designated reader.
Your voice just sounds nicer. I love the sound. I know you don't like hearing your own voice, but I gotta
Yeah.
be honest, it's soothing.
It's soothing. What if
Yes.
I get it really low next to the mic?
Oh my gosh. Oh whoa.
Woo. Okay. So you want me to go through and read off the different headlines we got going on?
Yeah, and then so I guess what we'll do is we'll pick one and go and try and we'll just see how it goes. Just go for it.
Okay. Here we go. First one. World's first time machine tested accidentally sends local cat to ancient Egypt. Okay, that's great. Scientists discover invisible island in the Pacific. Lost socks found on shore.
Makes sense.
Makes sense, totally. Aliens contact Earth to borrow a cup of sugar, promise to return in next millennium. Fair. Penguins develop advanced ice city, declare themselves an independent nation. About time. Let's see your next one. Man mistakenly enters parallel universe at local supermarket, returns with double shopping.
Shut up. That's amazing. Okay.
Wait, hold on. I don't get that joke. I feel stupid.
I think what I think ChatGPT worded it weird, but how I interpret it as he ended up with he was I think that
God.
he was able to purchase double the amount of things.
Oh, he
So,
just came out with
as he
double of everything.
entered the door, he goes to alternate interviews. Oh my gosh.
Universe.
alternate universe.
Uh-huh.
Shops and stuff, comes out, suddenly has 2 carts after purchasing everything. Double the amount of things.
Okay. There we go. Okay, next one. Giant avocado discovered in Mexico. Declared a new microstate. Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Talking dolphin elected mayor of coastal town. Promises fish for all. Nice.
That could happen.
That could happen, actually. Wasn't a dog a mayor at one point?
That sounds familiar.
I think there was. Anyways, local dog wins Nobel Prize in physics for unraveling the mystery of the missing ball. Nice. Volcanic eruption reveals ancient civilization in miniature. Wait, hold on. Volcanic eruption reveals ancient civilization of miniature dinosaurs still alive.
Whoa.
That would be the best. I would absolutely buy one. World's vegetables achieve sentience. Start a political party.
Oh my word.
Okay. Interesting choice, ChatGPT.
I love that a lot of these end up being like things that shouldn't be like human level intelligence are suddenly human level intelligence.
Yeah, that
like
was
the last
quite
half
the
of
theme.
those are like that.
That was a strong theme.
Oh my word.
I got a lot of choices there. Let's see here.
I really liked the first 2 sort of touch a special place in my heart. The time traveling cat and the socks on an island.
Okay. Should we dive into one of those?
Sure. Yes.
Why is it special to you?
I love time travel.
Oh,
Time
that's
travel
true. You do.
is one of the things I don't know much about it at all, but I love it. I love hearing about time travel. I'm a fan. And the socks thing is just one of those mysteries I would always love to find out where the socks go.
Yeah, the socks do just easily disappear. Like as a kid, I always thought it was whoever like the laundry room setup you had, it was just like easy to lose the sock like underneath the laundry machine, or like because you shared it with other people, it could get mixed up in other people's stuff and then like tossed out, is what I always kind of thought was that trope around that. And then all of a sudden I'm living by myself in a house with a laundry machine I have full control over, and the socks are still disappearing sometimes. I just
Okay, I already have a good theory about the socks one. Here's what I
Okay.
think. The socks are alive.
Mhm.
They're also like sentient, intelligent creatures.
Okay.
But sort of like in a Toy Story style where they can't move like when we're around.
Mhm.
Right? They don't want us to know that they're alive. And they hate being worn. They hate it so much, so they're trying to escape.
Okay.
And so one of the most easily accessible escape routes is in the dryer, the ventilation system, right? And so
They're just hopping out the vent to the
they're just
outside.
hopping out the vent outside, and there's like some sort of underground railroad situation where they're helping each other escape to some sort of invisible island that we don't know about.
And we just recently discovered it. Oh man.
Yeah.
And then they all had to just like drop, and so they just look like they washed up ashore because some human
Yes.
showed up.
They're like, oh no, they're here, and then they just lay down.
Oh, I'd be both surprised and not surprised at all if something like that was really actually discovered.
Yeah, right. Or,
There's
or
just
even
something
if
about
it's like,
socks.
and if it's not socks, what if there are people out there trying to free the socks, and they like
They're
the
just, like, going
CIA
to houses.
is trying to they infiltrate our homes, take socks one at a time. Um, why do
Well,
they take it? You know, it's actually a really big pain to find the pair, so they just go in there, grab a handful, and none of the handful match, and so they just
Yeah.
run out with what they can grab, and whisk them away to some island somewhere. Big
Well, it's
Sock,
like
Big
it's like
Sock Corporation is doing it
yeah, there we
to
go.
get us to
But
buy more socks.
it's like printers or in scanners, how like by default from the government, if they like notice certain things being scanned, it won't scan them into the computer. Things
Oh
like
my.
currency and stuff like that. That's just like hard coded into all printers.
Is it really? I want to scan some dollar bills right now.
I think some of them will warn you, some of them just won't do it. There's a couple other things besides currency that it will do it to, but it's just hard coded into all software of all printers and scanners.
Shut up! I didn't know that. Is that a
Yeah.
conspiracy? Are you being? Is this real, Brandon?
No, I
Or
haven't tested it
conspiracy?
myself, but I've heard it talked about all over the place.
I
I'm like
wanna try.
99% sure that's real. But it's like the same thing with dryers. They're just hard coded with some software to like, like during like a cycle, catch like a couple socks in like a little side bin, and then when you get your maintenance done, the maintenance guy takes the socks and hands them off to the FBI or whatever for sock testing and development. I don't know.
I think it's the Big Sock Corporation is in bed with Big Dryer Corporations, and they're working together to get us to purchase more socks.
That
I
I
think that's it.
would actually believe that one. I'd be like, yeah, of course they're working together to try to get us to buy more. Otherwise, socks would last forever.
Yeah, of course. By the way, I'm the worst at wearing socks, and
Yeah.
it's not that it's not. What I mean is that I try to wear them, and they won't stay on my feet in a normal way. Like
What,
I'm
they
just
are
not
twisting
good at
around,
it.
or
Yes, they'll twist around my foot. Almost every day this happens. Like
what kind of cheap ass socks are you buying?
it happens to any kind of sock I buy. Just if it's ankle sock, calf sock, cotton, fruit of the
Okay,
loom.
you need to run a test. You need to go
Wool
buy like a
socks.
pair of like the athletic socks that like have the hyper like conformity to your foot shape. Like
I've
way
had
more
some
so
of
than like
those.
regular ones. And see if those twist around on your foot.
I
If
have
those
some
twist
that
around,
like
then
have the
you're bad at
heel,
wearing socks.
like have the heel built in at least. Not like not the nylon ones. I haven't tried those, but maybe the nylon ones that like are really stretchy and will like conform to my foot. Maybe I've never
Maybe.
tried those, but I do have like cotton, like actual like athletic cotton breathable socks that are for
Mhm.
running and stuff like that. Even though I don't run, but like they're very comfortable. But like they will scooch themselves down over my heel. They will flip themselves around. It's just on their own inside my shoe.
What are you doing with your foot?
I don't know.
You are bad at wearing socks.
I am bad at wearing socks.
I didn't think that was possible, but you are bad at that. Is that a special? You should put that on your resume. That's a special skill. Oh my gosh. I was about to say I'm
Yeah.
bad with socks in the sense that I just buy like 30 of the exact same pair so that I never notice when like one disappears and it doesn't matter which ones have to match. But you're talking on a completely different level of
I'm not just
bad
talking
with
about bad
socks.
habits. I'm talking about and like your sister had brought it up once to my wife when we had meeting at the ranch one time,
Mhm.
and your sister's traumatized by. I guess she sort of doesn't like feet very much, and like
Okay, fair. Yeah.
I would walk around with socks on, but like they'd be like halfway off and twisted, like this sort of horror scene on my feet, and it traumatized her to a degree that she told my wife about it, and she's like, "What do you do about OJ and his socks?" And my wife had never noticed it before, but now she does notice it all the time, and she's
She
like,
calls you
"What?"
out on it.
She's like, "You just take them off."
Just put them out of their misery. Oh my gosh, I'm meeting my sister later today. Is it my younger sister? It's got to be my younger
Megan.
sister. Oh, it's my older sister.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so funny.
Yeah. So that's a thing. Socks and I have a rough history. So
Yeah, you guys.
I'll try to
don't get
go
along.
barefoot as often as possible because I'm just not good at wearing socks.
I would have not believed you with that sentence about 10 minutes ago. But you are bad at wearing socks. Wow. Okay. That is so strange. You must have like some kind of twitch you do with your foot, even though it's in like the shoe where you kind of like
I
shift
think
it
so.
back and forth or like rotate it somehow to where your sock is just constantly kind of trying to like wiggle off.
I've noticed that like even like when I'm trying to sleep in bed or something, my feet are always like sort of doing this sort of thing, like they're rotating back and forth and like flexing and like rotating and flexing.
Yeah.
Like while I'm sleeping and trying to sleep, like it is like this fidgetiness that I can't even control with my feet. They just sort of wiggle, 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 wiggle.
It's just be wiggling. Do you hate tight shoes?
I
Do you
hate
like to
them.
wear
I
your
can't wear tight shoes at all.
Yep. Okay. Things are making sense. You got like some wiggle twitch that's just constantly happening with your
My
foot.
feet
That's
have
just
to, my
subconscious.
toes have to be so free. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
But they're good feet. You want to see them?
No? For free? Oh my god.
Like they're good shaped. Like it's a very normal. I can't even hold them still right now. You see them like wiggling.
I did. You were wiggling them so much. It was like your feet were like hands that were just like, I'm doing a thing.
They just want to be hands. But they're. Oh my gosh.
I can't say I'm like a connoisseur of rating feet, but those were good looking feet.
They're normal looking feet. All my toes, like they arc correctly up to the big toe. They're the right length and proportion with my foot. My foot looks like a normal foot. They're really good feet. I should sell pics of them.
You're just bad at using them.
Yeah, they have a mind of their own. And I've got a bowl of oatmeal here, just kind of cooling off. So maybe I'll have some oatmeal.
I didn't know I was allowed to bring food onto the podcast. I would
Yeah,
have ordered
man.
my McDonald's.
Okay. Oh, feet. Yeah. Well, if we're done with the fake, and that's our fake news segment. Yeah.
Nice.
Moving on to video games
Yes, video games.
and sort of our opinions on newer games. So, have you tried anything new within the last week that you want to talk about, or any new ideas that you want to talk about with video games? Because I have a lot to say.
One new video game that is coming out soon, and the demo just dropped, and I'm super stoked to try it. It's called Shape Z or Shapes. It's a factory game, and the second one is coming out here soon.
Oh, I think I saw that advertised actually.
The first one was all top down, kind of a factory builder where you have different shapes and colors, and you like combine the colors and the shapes to create these complex geometric shapes to then send off to the factory with like cutting, splicing, rotating. And the second one is coming out this year, and the demo just dropped. And I am so stoked to play it. I can't wait. I'm going to spend hours of my life in that game again. It is such a soothing factory game.
Okay, hang on. This thing's taking too long. Is this the one where like it gives you a finished shape you're supposed to create, and then you like put smaller shapes together to try to build the final bigger shape?
Yes.
It's that game. Okay.
Yes. So you basically have like a square, circle, star, a couple other shapes, and each one is split into like 4 quadrants. And you can cut, splice, rotate, stack, colorize, do all these different things to create these like crazy shapes so it just gives you the final shape and it says, here, good luck making this. And you have to figure out how to make it, and you try to make it the most efficiently you can. So because you're supposed to make like, I don't know, like 30,000 of each shape or something like that. And then as you progress, you like unlock more machines and faster machines. And the unofficial end goal is always to make a make anything machine.
Oh,
So
right.
where what you can do with, because like there's like wiring. I'm talking all from the perspective of the first one. I'm assuming the second one has these exact same things and just like builds upon it.
Okay.
But you had things like wiring and all this stuff to where like you were creating like computer logic with like bits and stuff like that to like say, here, switch off these parts of the machine so you can make whatever you want. And so what you do is you had like an input that had like the shape and you that you want to make, and you give it to the machine, and then it could spit it out at the end just based on like changing things around and moving its own logic. And it was so much fun to make those.
Ooh,
So much fun.
so the unofficial end goal is to end up with a machine that could take any input and be able to
Hmm.
solve it and have the matching output.
Yes. Yeah. And it was so much fun to take like a little mini part of the machine and try to optimize it to its max in like the way the amount of space it took up and its like output and input. Oh god, I can't wait to spend another like
Ooh,
300 hours in this next game. It's going to
when
be
is that?
so much fun.
Do you know the release date of that?
It doesn't have an official release date, just 2024, but the fact that the demo has already dropped and the demo is looking fairly complete,
Ooh,
I imagine it's going to come out in the next few months, or at the very latest this summer.
this looks so cool. I really want to try that.
Because I love
That'd be a lot of
factory
fun.
games, and the joy of this one is that it's complicated enough to keep your interest, but it doesn't add all these other
Mm.
gimmicks. Seems like a harsh word, but
I,
like gimmicks to the game to like try to keep your interest in other ways. Like Factorio,
like
you have
Factorio,
like you
Aliens.
have like the aliens and the fighting, and like you got to do all this other management. It's like, no, just none of that. You're just building the most efficient factory you can. There's not all this other nonsense of like getting over mountains or digging through things
Right.
or like having, I mean, there's a little bit of like m- material stuff that you can gather for shapes. Like there's a certain shape you can make that if you make enough of them, you get like points to be able to like copy and paste stuff and things like that.
Oh.
um
Okay, but still,
but
it's
still it's
still
like
focused
you're,
on that core mechanic.
the core mechanic of just build the most efficient factory you can, and it's I I'm
It
yet
sounds
to find a
pure.
factory game. Yeah, a very pure factory game, and I'm yet to find another one that's that pure of a factory game. And I'm
It's
so excited
reminding
they're making
me
a second one.
Trap. It's just called Maker.
Maker.
Mm.
Okay.
There was a game. Uh, let's see if I just do a search for something Maker. Let's
Oh,
see.
I do want to add to the end of that though. I do
Okay.
still love the factory games where you have to like gather materials to make the next phase of the factory you're making. I still enjoy those factory games. There's just like a simple like zone out fun of having that very pure factory game that I really enjoy.
Here it is. There's a game called Contraption Maker.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, where you have like the rat on the wheel and
yeah, and you try to
that's
like put a bunch of like levers and pulleys and things together to make a contraption. What you're describing sounds similar in that it's so pure. Like there's no other nonsense involved. It's just make the thing.
are you referencing the new one or the original one from like 1995
I
or something
remember
like that?
playing the old one like at elementary school, but also the newer one. I think I own it,
I think I might own the newer one, but man,
and
yeah,
I
I
played it
remember
a
that
little
game.
bit. Yeah,
That was a fun game. That was very
that's a
much so
blast.
a what's the is it Rube Goldberg machine or something like that,
I don't know.
where you like start off a process and it goes through all these complicated steps to like finish a task.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's called something like that. Man, yeah, I'm excited about that. I do love those kind of games. They're really nice because it's like it has almost a casual feel to it, right? Because you don't have aliens and things like other things trying to give you anxiety and stress. It's like
Hmm.
take your time, just make the thing at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much a game that can scale to your skill level. It's like you're able to do the
Oh
thing.
yeah.
It's just about how well you did the thing is completely up to you. And it's like there's an infinite amount of possibilities and
Mm-hmm.
not just one specific way you've got to discover to solve the problem. I love
Yeah.
that.
Like just the fact that you can look at other people's make anything machines. Because I at one point decided to start Googling them, and most of them are all completely different. Like there's not just like one end solution to where like you can really do it a whole lot of different ways. Like some people optimize the input at like the color point. Some people are optimizing the input at other ways. I could get into weird specifics that you wouldn't understand unless you play the game, but it's really it's really fun the different ways people do it. I really like it.
I want to try that one out.
It makes me want to go back and replay the first one again. Just kind of start over a new world and work my way through it again.
Ooh.
But
Yeah, and the scary part about doing that is that things don't end up being the way you remember them, and you risk tarnishing a good memory
True.
of a game.
True.
I remember doing that with Borderlands 1 once. I was like, Borderlands 1 was so much fun. I'm going to go back and play it. It was just a few years ago, and it was like, oh, it was better in my memory.
Oh no. Yeah.
But yeah, in things like that,
Yeah.
going back, it's there's always that risk.
Yeah, true. Very true.
So I tried out a game. Oh my gosh, my camera froze again. Look at that stupid smirk.
It's a solid smirk. You're ready to say something really important, I can tell. With that smirk.
Yes. This is how we start going down the hole towards so um things that could be politically insensitive. So
Okay.
um
Buckle up and hold on to your butts.
I played Undertale. It's this game that lots of game makers, I've heard lots of great things about it. Its reviews in Steam are like whatever, overly positive. And so like people love this game.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it and I think it's the devil.
Bye, audience. It was great
Uh,
seeing you.
I will say, so when I get into reviewing games, I'm super critical. Just because I've played so many, I think it's made me very
Cynical.
Maybe I'm spoiled by good games to where I think that everything should live up to that standard. And so there was lots of things that fell way below my standards. But there was one good thing about the game.
Okay.
So think of it as like a JRPG sort of situation where it's a top-down view, you're a character. Every now and then you come across a randomized fight just by walking around, and a battle ensues.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your options. You do a thing. The enemy does its thing, turn-based. When the enemy attacks you, it starts this little mini game that is awesome. I think it's brilliant. This is probably the one reason why people do love it. It's a genius concept where you get this little screen. It's like this little panel near the bottom, and you have a heart that you control in this square.
Okay.
You can move your heart around, and it's a lot like just like an asteroid game, where, like pretending like it's a spaceship, and then asteroids or other ships come along, and you have to like dodge them and move around them. But what happens is like you have your heart, and like these white pixels appear and sort of float around in different patterns and stuff, and you just have to take your heart and dodge all the pixels. Each enemy has their own pattern of how it does its attack, and if you dodge all the white pixels that come onto the screen, you don't take any damage. So the damage they do to you is entirely based on your ability to dodge those things. So it transitions into a purely skill-based situation.
That's interesting.
So it takes that churn-based thing and like transforms it into a skill-based, which is genius. I think it's awesome. I love that part of it. It was a lot of fun. Everything else about the game is just not good. What happens is the near the beginning, and I don't remember if you watched me play part of it. I streamed a little bit of it through Discord.
I saw the very, very beginning.
If the premise is that you're a human. In history, humans fought monsters. Humans banished the monsters to an underground dwelling and trapped monsters underground. And they've just lived there for whatever. It's been a long time.
Okay.
You're a human that has fallen into a hole and fallen down to this underworld where the monsters have been thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And you come across the very first creature you come across is this flower that talks to you. So it's a monster. It's like, hey, welcome to here. We're all nice and kind and we love each other. Let me explain a couple of the mechanics. And you're like, cool. It lulls you into like this false sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns evil and attacks you. He goes, just
Mm.
kidding, and it attacks you. And you have your first little battle with it.
Okay.
Then you meet your first NPC who comes along. And they're like super overly supportive, like, oh, I'm going to treat you like you're my child. I'm going to take care of you, make sure nothing bad happens. I'm going to baby you. I'm going to teach you about how this world works. And it does a few things that it essentially lies to you. It goes, now just wait here. Whenever you have a battle, don't attack back. I'm going to come to rescue you. And so you try it a few times, and that doesn't happen. She never
Mhm.
comes to rescue you, and you end up having to find another way out of the battle.
Okay.
And then she lies to you again, saying, okay, you wait here in this area. I'm going to leave and come back. I sat there on that screen for like 20 minutes just to prove a point
Yeah.
that the monsters are lying to you. The whole concept is that these monsters, they're pretending to be nice, pretending to have good intentions, but they're lying and they're evil.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked up this game, like I had a really hard time with this concept because one of the mechanics is that you can just finish a battle without ever attacking the enemy and just letting them live, but you don't get any rewards, you don't get XP, you don't get any gold, you don't get the things you need that I would think you would need in a classic JRPG to progress through the game.
Yeah.
But there are ways to play the game passively, not attacking a single monster, and get to what they call the true ending, where like all the monsters
Okay.
and humans live happily ever after. And so this game has this secret agenda about whether or not someone is evil or lying to you or whatever, just don't attack them. Essentially, don't defend yourself.
Okay.
And that's the part, that's what I've ultimately interpreted as, is that it's trying to train you to not defend yourself against things that are malicious. And
If
that,
you're going for a specific ending.
right. Well, they're claiming that that's the true ending. So it's this sort of
Okay.
emotional manipulation happening throughout the game. Is they want you to feel bad if you attack them,
Okay.
and they want you to
Interesting.
feel good if you don't defend yourself.
Weird.
It's very weird. It's such a strange vibe from the game. And reading the reviews, it's like, oh, people love this. They think it's some sort of forward thinking psychological thing that is trying to teach people to live peaceably with each other. And it's like, no, no, no. You're misinterpreting it. It's trying to pacify you from defending yourself. That's different.
Yeah. It's a little
Bec-
bit of emotional manipulation to just
It,
not do anything.
yeah, it is, because they are always 100% the aggravators. They attack you, they initiate the battle, and they go, and then there's little speech bubbles that come up where they go, I don't want to fight you. Why are we like this? And it's like, you attacked me. And it's trying to
Yeah.
manipulate into thinking it's bad if you defend yourself.
It's trying to guilt trip you into not standing up for yourself in the game at all. Interesting.
Exactly. Yep. And it's like the whole community behind it is behind this concept. And I don't think they either see it or they think that that's okay.
Interesting.
It's really bizarre. And I feel like I couldn't play anymore. I eventually stopped after I got through the tutorial.
Yeah.
I played a little bit. You meet a couple other characters, and they all keep perpetuating this strange, like, we're monsters, but we have feelings too. I'm like, yeah, but you're also doing bad things. you can't just like cover up the fact that you're doing bad things with the fact that you have feelings.
But I have feelings. That's interesting.
And so
There.
I've kind of come up with a question, right? Or I guess it's not
Okay.
really a question, but it's like, is it wrong to defend yourself against a bully? And
That
I
is a.
think
Yeah.
that society and there are aspects of our communities that have been pushing towards the idea of that it's not the bully's fault that they're the way that they are. It's because of the way they were raised. You can't blame them for being evil and bad. They're
Mm.
just a victim of their environment. They're not responsible for their actions. And and so I feel like this is perpetuating that sort of vibe.
I have seen that thought process and that vibe kind of escalate in teaching. And I don't know if it was because there was a certain point where I knew about it more, but it seemed like there was like a window of about like 3 or 4 years where that was like really strong and kind of, I don't know if went away, but wasn't as pushed as hard. That is interesting. Is it bad to defend yourself, and are people pushing that way?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, because yeah, there really is that push of like it's not the bully's fault. It's just you can't blame them, so just look the other way and just deal with it almost.
Yeah, go to a therapist instead and talk about it.
Yeah, interesting. Because for a while there it was um we don't care if you're getting bullied, sucks to suck. And then there was the push of, well, defend yourself, stand up for yourself, or not necessarily stand up, defend yourself, fight back,
Mm-hmm.
beat up the bully back, and they'll go away. And then it did kind of transition to this weird thing of like it's not the bully's fault, just just take it and love them.
Yeah, yeah. It's this weird form of empathy that's really misguided.
So what do you
Um,
think is the proper response to a bully situation like that, out of curiosity?
my opinion is always defend yourself.
Yeah.
Always defend yourself. That is one of the most important things we have as humans is our ability to defend ourselves at all costs. Now, I do have one more question. We're almost out of time, but have you ever been in a fight and had to defend yourself?
Yes. Not with not with any tools or like weapons, like a firearm or anything like that. I have come close to having to defend myself against an animal with a weapon.
Oh, okay.
Um, but against another human, I have been in like a fist fight having to defend myself.
Oh, really? Because I've never, but I've come really close. I've
Yes.
like, there's sometimes where I really wanted to in high school, especially tried to egg on a fight just because like I wanted to see what I was capable of.
Yeah.
But what was that like? Is it something you want to talk about, or is it trauma that's like,
No, not trauma. It's more of I just don't know if I've ever actually talked about it out loud. I've gotten in small scuffles where it was really I just defended myself and let the situation, like I took a hit and blocked a hit and then just let the anger simmer out of that person and let it end. And then there's one time where I got into serious fisticuffs, and it really is like one of those moments of like you use anything to your advantage. All rules go out the window. You get into this mode of like, because my dad was a karate guy, and he gave us basic understandings of like, because none of us kids really went into karate, but he taught us all like basic blocks, basic things to think about if you're ever in a fight and have to defend yourself. And so those things instantly came to mind, and I was doing different things, but it was like really there's it was at school. Um, like there's a food tray right there that's within my reach, and I know it's there. Grab it, bash the guy over the head with it. He grabs something else, tries to bash me over the head with it. I see that his foot is next to this table. If I pin his leg against that, I can get on top of him and start just beating the shit out of him from above. It was really like all of a sudden you're seeing these things out of your periphery of like things you can try to take advantage of to try to like use any tool within your reach. And it's like it's a little bit of a scary mentality because the first time you do it, you don't have the control over your mentality to like hit
Oh,
limits and stop
to
yourself.
rein it in.
Yeah, of like, oh wait, that thing could kill him. I should maybe not use that. Kind of a kind of like a rein back.
Okay,
And it
yeah.
may have been because I was young, or it was the first time it happened to me, and so like none of that stuff, like I remember none of that stuff registering, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit afterwards of like, oh, I have to be a little more conscious and like reined in if that ever happens to me again. But I did. I I luckily came out on top on the fight. The other guy looked way worse than me, but it was very weird in that
Was it
sense.
fast? Did it feel like it was slow, but then like when you look back, was it actually really fast?
It
I get the feeling.
it went in and out. So like in the moment, there was like moments of like it felt like kind of like slow motion, like you see like in Spider-Man, everything like slows down. You can like see the bug flying past your face or whatever. There was like
Hmm.
moments of that, and then other moments where it goes so fast you don't know what just happened almost. And so you like, and then from looking back, it was it was not nearly as long as it felt in the moment, but in the moment there was like these like zoom in zoom out moments of like someone hitting fast forward, slow
Oh,
down, fast forward, slow down, fast forward, slow down kind of moments. Like it's almost like, you know, in the movies where the moment happens and you get like the with the music and you like go into like a fisheye lens view.
yeah.
Your like
Uh-huh.
vision kind of actually does that. Like all of a sudden you feel like you're
Yeah.
seeing everything in your periphery, everything in like up and down and around, and you're like all of a sudden going into like supercomputer mode of just like input, calculation, calculation, calculation. Do this.
I wonder if your eyes literally do dilate to take in all of your
I don't
surroundings.
know, maybe.
Because I know that happens with like animals and cats and stuff. Like,
I
uh,
wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I have heard some people talk about it being just the opposite though, so that might have just been a me thing. I have heard some people talk about the fact that it was like just a major tunnel vision. Like
oh,
almost it was like almost like everything was else was blacked out except for the person they were fighting and they couldn't see anything else. And so they missed all the other stuff of like the buddies coming in to help, or
oh.
you know, they were suddenly back to the wall and they had no idea, or they like major tunnel visioned. So I've
There,
heard the opposite, but I don't know.
that reminds me of the one time I almost got into a fight. Um, it was, well, so it was in high school, and
Hmm.
I was in the locker room changing for class, and there were some other kids. There, you have like these little blocks of lockers divided off, and anyway, so I sort of every day I saw them. We changed near each other to go
Hmm.
into class, and this one day, these two kids, they were cursing a lot. I'm not the kind of person that goes around and tells everyone, "Please don't swear around me." Like I don't do
Hmm.
that, but like these guys, they were talking about some sexual things and using the F word a lot. And
Hmm.
like I was finally getting, and like they let him go on for a while. I'm like, guys, can you just can you calm down your language a little bit?
Yeah.
Like he was sort of getting to me. I'm like, this is obsessive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they looked really shocked and they shut up immediately. And then partway through the next class, like the gym class, someone come up to
Hmm.
me and goes, OJ, we heard that so and so wants to fight you, that you picked a fight with them. I'm like, who's that? And like, they're the kid. Like, I didn't even know his name.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, he's gonna get his buddies. But it was astounding to me how quickly that word had traveled around our entire school without phone. Like there was a
Yeah.
little bit of texting at that time, a little bit. It was the period of time where you got to pay per text,
Yeah.
so there wasn't a lot. And
Hmm.
like, I'm like, what? Oh, is that the kid I told to shut up in the locker room? I'm like,
Next thing you know,
oh,
you're meeting him after school for a fight.
yeah. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. That's exciting. I hope he delivers.
Swear.
Yeah. Uh, cause I was slightly known as being kind of a crazy person, but
Yeah.
not like mentally ill, but like you, who knows what he's gonna do?
Yeah.
Who knows what OJ's gonna do? Because I was in the stage of my life where I did lots of stunts, and people knew I did jumped off of things and did tricks and weird skateboarding stuff and like all sorts of things
Mm.
and filming it. And like I wasn't afraid of anything.
Yeah.
And so after this class, we have lunch and I'm just standing there in lunch line. And actually I'd totally forgotten about it. And this group of guys comes up. It's this kid, and he had about 4 people following behind him. And he goes, "Hey, your name's OJ, huh?" And he's like, I'm like, "Yeah, oh, you must be whatever. I heard that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you were going to come after me." He's like, "Yeah. Who do you think you are telling me what I can't talk about?" Like, he started to do this thing. And I learned later that I guess he was on the football team and was sort of a tough guy or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
I had no idea. But I had a friend um, who was also one of the largest humans you'll ever meet, who was the sitter
Mm-hmm.
for our football team. Um, is the nicest guy in the world. And he comes up and goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." And he puts his hand on this other kid's shoulder and goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." Right? This is easily the biggest, strongest guy in
Yeah.
our entire school, easily by miles. He goes, "Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, you don't want to mess with OJ." His name was Tim. Tim and I went to elementary school together. We knew each other for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So we were good friends. We'd been in many classes together. We hung out many times. He goes, "You don't want to mess with OJ. He's crazy." And the look in this kid's face as he looks at Tim, he goes, he's like, "Okay,
Oh
if
shit.
you're afraid of him," and
Oh,
he
that's
just
great.
like Tim totally diffused the situation. He just looks at me, pound it, and like, cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was a really fun experience. I'm a little sad I didn't get to fight and see what crazy, it could have
Yeah.
come out. Who knows? Probably nothing, but
Oh,
probably
I'd love
actually it
to
was.
be that guy that's just like so big no one messes with, and that you can just like walk into any like tense situation, just be like, okay, this ends. And everyone's
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Yes. Yes, sir. I love him.
Oh, that's great.
Tim was a very good friend. I love you, Tim. If you're out there one day, hear
You
this.
discover this. Oh, that's
Never
great.
happened, but beautiful man. Anyway, okay. Those were our fight stories. Talked about games. Anything else you want to throw out here?
Nah, I
Nah.
think we're good. I think we've hit a good time.
Yeah, that was good. All right. All right, listeners. Thanks for surfing in. Um, say your prayers. Bye.
Bye.